Ribbons are glass rods stacked together condensed and then stretched to a practical width. Ribbons are a great way to have several lines close to each other without having to individually apply each one. I like to use ribbons on welds to conceal seam marks. When drawing lines, it is a great way to save time and add complexity to your work. During this demonstration, I will make a 14-line ribbon alternating between blue, green, and white. By always heating the surface of your glass before applying lines, you will avoid stress fractures. Keep in mind when applying lines to the surface, if the surface is cold, they can slip off. It is generally a good rule to preheat your glass before working it, especially with solid work. It is important to apply your lines as evenly as possible from the start. Any inconsistencies of your first lines will be exaggerated when the ribbon is finished. An easy way to do this is to find the heat-speed ratio. The heat-speed ratio is the relationship between the heat of your torch and the speed at which you can draw a line. If you are having trouble drawing lines evenly, try adjusting the heat of your torch or the pressure you apply to the rod when drawing your lines. Draw your second line directly opposite of the first line. If your ribbon slumps a little, you can use a marver pad or graphite rod to help straighten it back out. After drawing your first two lines, draw the following lines directly on top of the first two. Alternate between each side to help keep the piece evenly heated and give you a visual idea of what your ribbon will look like. All that you are making now is a larger version of what eventually will be stretched out. You can use any combination of colors when creating a ribbon pattern. In the diagram below, you will see various ribbons that have been previously made with different color combinations. We will now skip past the next four lines, 2 of white and 2 of cobalt blue. If you make your last two lines clear, it will help avoid burning out your colors when applying your ribbon. Now attach a hot punny to your ribbon and center your two handles. Reheat your piece a little in the flame to avoid any stress fractures. As you start condensing your ribbon, make sure to heat it evenly to ensure consistent condensing. Tug on your ribbon just a little to keep things straight and start the stretch. Be careful not to heat your punnies too much while condensing your ribbon to make sure it stays centered. As you start to feel the ribbon loosening, start to pull the two punties more and more. After your lines have been condensed, you can start to stretch your ribbon. Pull slowly at first to straighten any wobbles in the ribbon. Now pull on the ribbon firmly before it cools for your final stretch. Don't stop pulling both punties until the glass has fully cooled down. Remove one end of the ribbon so you can apply it later. By tearing off the tip of your ribbon, the same way we showed in the prepping and tearing section, you'll get a clean termination point to start your line with when applying your ribbon. Taking these few steps to clean the end of your prep work will always make things look better in the final product. I made this ribbon larger than I normally would so that what was happening would be clearer. Typically, I would make my ribbons smaller when using them for wrapping welds, drawing lines, and doing inside-out work. As you can see, spending a little time to make a ribbon will give you a ready-to-use piece of glass that contains a complex pattern of lines.